We just finished up the Mubadala New York Sail Grand Prix. It was a really busy week for us on and off the water here in New York City. Such a huge privilege to be here racing alongside the great sports teams that call New York City home, the Yankees, the Mets. Historically, New York is logistically an incredible challenge, so our team did a great job getting our boat and our staff to where they needed to be every day. It's not easy, long days, long nights, and we couldn't be here without all our team. On the water, we just weren't good enough, and that is something that we're actively working on. You hear me talk a lot about progress over results, and I stand by that. It's really easy to look at the results and get down on yourself. It's really easy for people to look at the results and be upset with how we're performing. And we share that. We look at them too. We hear what you say. We're looking ourselves in the mirror and trying to get better every day, and we're not satisfied with where we are. We finished 5 out of 6 races in the points over the 2 days, with our worst race being the first of each day. And I think that just shows where we are from an experience standpoint, right? Once we get in the flow of things, all of a sudden we can start to be competitive. So we left Sunday night and spent a lot of time talking yesterday about how we can start out Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings where we leave off the race behind. And that's really tricky because when we get to the UK in a month, there's no practice days. We get right into an official practice race day, and then we get right into racing Saturday and Sunday. So we don't have any open practice days. So we really have to get our minds right, get our data right. Now it's time to answer your fan questions. This is the Buckley Debrief. You'll see different teams go out of boundaries for different reasons. We have the telemetry up on our wing screen. Sometimes it's hard to see. The reality of why it's difficult is the speeds that everybody's traveling. And when you're trying to push a boundary, a lot of the time, the strategist will call, push the boundary tack, boundary jibe. You're tacking or jibing 1 second before the boundary, and people are just trying to nail it. And then, on Saturday, people might have gone out of the boundary because their boats might have been out of control because there was so much current and not very much wind. But typically, anytime somebody's going, to a boundary, it's for a reason. You're looking for a seam of clean air to before you tack or jibe. And yeah, people are just pushing the limits. When you talk about training, what you're really talking about is preparation and experience, right? And what makes SailGP really difficult to move up the leaderboard for new teams is you don't get access to the F50s very often. So when we get to the UK next month, we're straight into official practice racing on Friday. There's not any time kind of Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday to just go out and practice maneuvers and practice comms. You're doing it kind of in live fire, if you will. So, I think as the league grows and more teams come in, we'll see training facilities pop up. But for our team, the only thing that we can focus on is, the data that we have from our team and the other teams, the video feeds of this weekend and other races, and then, sailing things like moths and other boats in between to, sharpen our skills. We're really excited to have Michael Manager join our team. He was here with us in New York for his first race. There's a lot that goes into getting ready to step on board an F50. So we spent the last 4 or 5 days with Michael, getting him up to speed and getting him the knowledge and information that he's going to need so that when he steps on in the UK, that he's ready to go. We don't want to put anybody into a situation that they're going to fail. We want to give people the opportunity to win. So yeah, we'll see Michael in the UK. Data is a huge part of SailGP. The boats put out about 6 billion data points per day. So there's a lot of data to sift through in the entire league. We're really lucky to have a partner like T-Mobile. So they help us analyze data. As we're learning and growing in this league, we're looking to leverage the use of data and AI as we move forward, so that we can see what other teams are doing in real time and kind of deliver the data to our pit wall in a way that they can understand it quickly. Right now, it comes in kind of fairly unfiltered, and it's really difficult to see if Spain is winning because they have better tactics, or they're just going faster, or better maneuvers, right? Or they were just in more wind or less current or more current. Looking forward we're gonna spend a lot of time making sure that we have the best technology to diagnose all these other teams' data. Yeah, the league goes to great lengths with weather forecasting before they decide the configuration for all the teams for the day. So that's out of the team's control. It's one call goes out the night before. There's a lot that goes into changing out the boards and the rudders and the wings. So the call's made the evening before. We have all night to study the configuration that's going to be for the following day, and we can look at other similar days over the year before, the year before that, to get ready for the day. We'd never sailed in a light air configuration in 19 to 20 plus knots. That was a new thing for us. So the boats were pretty close to out of control for our first few laps around the course. I think if you looked at any of the video feeds, you saw some of the best teams in the league launching out of the water, big crash downs. That was just because the low speed boards have a lot of drag, and so when you have a lot of wind, you're basically dragging those foils through the water. There's a lot of cavitation. The wheel is just shaking the whole time, and you're on the limit. So yeah, that was tough for us to kind of figure out how to keep the boat under control on our first few laps in the first race. But then the breeze dropped a little bit and kind of came into the top of the range for that configuration, and things became a little bit more normal for us. And I think what we saw there is when it was on the out of control side of the range, we had a tough finish. We got 12th. Once it became more normal, then all of a sudden we can get back to, it's just sailing. We know what to do. We're not worried about how to, control the boat outside the limit. And, we had 2 good races. Saturday, we received penalty points for an incident at a leeward mark. There was very little wind, a lot of current. All the boats were basically not able to maneuver very well out of each other's way. We got in a tricky spot where we got caught between the turning mark and a competitor that had the right of way. We felt like we couldn't do anything either way. We were damned if we did, damned if we didn't. If we went to the right, we hit the mark. If we went to the left, potential collision with another boat. We didn't agree with the decision, but we respect that the jury ruled on what they viewed as the facts, the data that they have, and we move on. There's nothing we can do, and it is what it is. It's always great to see Khaled and his team. I've become good friends with him and his team over the years, and he helps us a lot in the boardroom. And but what he's doing to bring more eyeballs to sailing is incredible. He's got infectious energy, and having him come out to a race for the first time was incredible. He's doing a lot of great work for the league, as well as their chief hype officer. It's just bringing our sport to new eyeballs. That being said, the best part of this weekend was ripping around on Sunday, right? Seeing all the F50s going 50, 60 miles an hour, the spray flying off the back of the boats launching out of the water, crashing down, and to be able to do that in front of the most iconic skyline in the world, New York City, in front of 10,000 fans and grandstands and hospitality, the yachts, the boats. But for us, we're not satisfied with our results. We're not satisfied with our performance. It's a huge privilege to race with the American flag at the top of our boat. And with that comes an enormous amount of pressure. We know that we need to deliver. So we will work relentlessly until we can deliver the results that the American fans deserve.